Hello, I'm Brad Scott, and this is my art. Today, I'm going to take a concept sketch that I did and move it into my digital program and start working it graphically and fleshing it out and see if I can do a good digital painting, concept painting for it. So this is the sketch I have for the movie project that I'm working on, and this is one of the ballistic entry breach characters. I talked about that in a previous video, so you can check that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my iPad and I'm just going to scan a picture, or I'm going to make a picture of it, not scan, but just take a picture of it. Alright, and now I think that'll be good. And so now let's see if I can work it. Come back out, check the picture out. You can see I got a lot of. So there's the picture of it. Looks to be pretty good. So now I'll go into Autodesk Sketchbook. This is a program that I like a lot, and I'm going to create a new drawing, and it's going to be portrait size, and I want it to be the highest resolution I can get, and we'll go ahead and create that. I'm going to take the background layer, and so I'm not working on complete white. I'm going to give it a little dark gray tone, and the reason I do that, it's something that I learned. It's not something that I made up, but then when I come in with a where's my paintbrush? When I come in with a paintbrush and I go white, now I can get some white in there, as opposed to if it was a piece of white paper, then I couldn't go white with it, and that's not really white, that's a. And then I could even erase. Alright, but that's not what I do want to do. So that, let's take out all that. Go back to the background color, give it a little gray tone, and I want my marker. Technical pen. I want to go with the jet black. I can make it a little bit thicker. There you go, that's what I want. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this layer here. Actually, I'm going to add a couple layers because I know I'm going to be working off it. And I'm going to bring in an image. And now I have my image. So now what I can do is go ahead and put that where I want it. And that'll be my base image that I'm working off of. And I'll be done with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and fade it out a little bit, because I really don't want the image. Then I'm going to come to this level here with my technical pen, and I'm going to actually, let me get my, I don't want my hand doing crazy stuff, so let me get my glove on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and outline the character with the technical pen so that I can quickly and easily do a fill-in to work from, and I'll show you why I want to do that. But I'm just going to come in, I'm going to do a rough outline. Doesn't have to be super clean. because I'm going to clean it up as I go. This part isn't really super creative, but it will help me mask out. Actually, I don't like that line. It'll help me mask out the areas that I don't want to work in as I start building up the layers. I don't like that line. So while I'm developing a character, or not a character, but any concept, I really like working traditionally with pen and paper. Although I am learning how to think with the technical man, this corner is giving me the blues. Now let me just move it around. There we go. So with the pencil and paper, it's really easy for me to kind of think through and see where I want a concept to go. But I'm learning how to do that digitally. Because one thing I'm learning as I explore the digital art realm is that digital art can be actually not only fun, but it can be pretty fast. Which I'm starting to like. I was a little apprehensive at first, but it's just like any tool. As you learn how to use the tool more and more and get better at it, it becomes easier and you become better at it. So I'm putting more effort into doing this for a couple of reasons. One, it's easy to just pack this up and go. And so if I'm doing concepts or sketches or anything on the go, I have unlimited paper, unlimited pencils, unlimited pens, unlimited paint. I can just take it all with me and just create wherever I'm at. And it packs up very nice and neatly. For example, I'll probably take this with me to different conferences where I'm just attending, but I don't have an art table. And if something hits me, I can whip it out, knock out a quick concept sketch or a quick drawing, and it'll be with me. And like I said, I have unlimited paper, pencils, paint, so I have unlimited possibilities, right? And then when I get back to fleshing it out in more detail, it's right there for me. The downside is you can't sell that. So if I plan on doing an original and selling that original, then I need to do the pen and paper because people want that, as opposed to a digital file that you can use for anything and email to anybody. So now I've got the outline of my character here. I'm going to go ahead and throw another layer on because I don't want to mess that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select off of this layer. Oh, don't want to do that. I'm going to use the magic lasso. Boom. And it gives me that nice clean outline. And then I can go to this layer here, and then I can do a fill with, and I'm going to pick a nice mid-gray neutral, say like a 5, and I can fill that in. Boom. And this layer here actually I don't want. It's too far down. And then I can deselect that, take it off of the fill, unselect, and go back to my technical pen or my pencil. I'll go back to my pencil, black ink, come up here, add one more layer on top of this, make sure that's what I want, and that is what I want. Boom. But now what I can do is, I have this, and I can lower the opacity on this a little bit, and raise the opacity on this a little bit. Actually, this layer I can turn off. That was just my outline. And I come back up to this layer. And now the cool thing is, if I go ahead and actually, I got a better idea. Let me take this off. I'm going to delete this. And then I'm just going to duplicate this layer. And I'll hide that one. And that'll be the one I don't mess with. And then I'll come back to this one and I'll lock it. So now as I draw, I can draw inside the masked area, but I can't go outside the masked area. You see what I'm saying? Now that's cool. And so I really don't want those scribbles. But now I can come in here and I can just start inside there. And anything I do will be here. And if I turn that off, you can see it stays inside the masked area. So that's pretty cool. But I've got that nice silhouette. Actually, let me take that off and just show you. I've got a beautiful silhouette of the character that I'm creating that I can work inside without messing up anything. So I'll turn that back on. And I'm going to come here, turn that back on. And I really didn't want those last few lines, so I'm going to take them out. Actually, I'll go ahead and delete that. That was just... And then I'll go ahead and duplicate it a couple of times, because I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to lose it. And none of those are locked. Turn that back on. And I'm going to go straight now to fleshing this out with paint. And I'll start off with, now this person is, and I'm just going to do some flatting. I'm not going to try to do any rendering or anything. I'll start off with some skin tone. And then I'm going to go with my paintbrush. And I'm going to lock this layer so that I can't go outside the lines. See how cool that is? And I'll just hit inside the lines there. Now normally when I'm doing this, I'd be watching TV or listening to some music, but since I want to post this, I can't do that because then I'll be violating copyright laws and all that crap. So that's where his skin will be. And then I'll jump over to nice blue, and I'll start working on the uniform. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Right now I'm just kind of flattening out some areas to work with later. And I don't have to worry about going outside the lines except inside the mask itself. But the rest of it, no problem. So I can take all this and I don't have to worry about going outside the lines because it's locked. and that's among his parts uniform. And then I'm going to come in with a green. Not that I'm going to leave things green, but it's just a good way to separate the parts that I'm working on. And I'm going to take, well, I actually need to shrink that down just a little bit. I'm going to highlight his weaponry. It might be cool to leave the weapons green, but they're not going to be green. But as I flat this out, it'll give me good color separation between the different parts that I can work with to start rendering. Now this may not be the best way to do it. I'm new to the digital art, so it's just really the way I know how to do it right now. But I'm learning, and so if I learn a better way to do it, I'll start using a better way. See how easy that is? Just, if you learn something new, you do something new. Otherwise, you do it what works, and you don't worry about it. Because the goal is not to have the goal is just to turn out a good product, basically. How you get there, as you get more efficient with your time, is important. But in the end, getting there is the most important thing. And its holster will be kind of like that. And also the badge. The badge is kind of special. I have a special digital badge that I'm putting on these characters. So I'm going to make sure that that's taken care of. And now, when I turn off that, you'll see I have a nice color separation, although I'm not sure what was that. Those parts in there. So I'll come back to my blue and finish coloring that in. Come back to my green. Actually, make sure that all the blue is good before I go off of the blue. That looks good. Got some craziness going on up here. That's fine. Let me go to my flesh. Ah, that's not what I had, is it? That's what I had. Finish the flesh out. And go back to the weaponry, which was green. Finish fleshing that out. And again, see, I still have that mask on, so I don't have to worry about going outside the lines. Boom. And now, what I can do is I can take this, and I can duplicate that layer. And I'll take that one off. Keep that one. Don't need that underneath there. And if I wanted to just say, for example, work on the uniform, I'll bring that in here. And I'll lower the opacity a little bit. I just need to see the basic underline of it. And I come back up to here. And if I say I want to start adding some shadowing to the uniform, I come back here. I'd go with a deeper, darker blue. Say if I want to start working on the core shadows. And then I have this layer locked, so I still don't have to worry about going outside the line. But I can come here and use the selection tool and get just the uniform, because now it's going to select just the blue. And now I'm sorry, didn't mean to do that. Come back here, select magic wand, select just the uniform, and paintbrush. And now I should be able to just start on the right layer. I'm doing something wrong here. There we go. Undo that. Undo that. I want to turn up the opacity on that so I can see better. And now I can start working on, but I don't want that. I want the airbrush. Soft. I'll go with the hard airbrush. Turn the opacity down just a little bit so I can see the underdrawing in there. And then I can start layering in some shadow. All right. And again, I don't have to worry about, oh no, I didn't lock this layer. So let me take that off. Lock the layer. Now I don't have to worry about going outside the line. Always got to remember to lock the layer when you don't want to go outside the line. Booyah. So I'm going to stop this video here. I just want to kind of show you how I go from the pencil or the paper traditional art to get it into my digital format to start working with it. And I'm going to take off those shadows because that's not what I want right now. But just as a quick recap, I took my traditional sketch, took a picture of it, and then scanned it in, and then I had a picture I could work with. Then I took that picture and I did an outline of it. Then I took that outline and I filled it in so that I had a nice mask to work with. And then I locked that layer, and then I was able to easily lay down some flat colors to work with. And then next up, I'll take that and I'll start airbrushing in and doing some rendering and some detail into everything. And I can always just go underneath, take this mask all the way down just so I can see a little bit underneath it to see where my guidelines are. And then I'll be painting up here. And since I still have that mask on, I don't have to worry about going outside the lines. And that's what makes it so cool. So again, I'm Brad Scott. This is my art. Thanks for hanging out for a couple of minutes. Well, a couple of minutes, how long was it? About 25 minutes. So I do want to keep them under 30 because after that, attention just drops off. Thanks a lot. And as always, peace.